Hello everyone. Today we'll start discussion on classification and regression trees. It is one of the widely used and easy to interpret methods of classification as well as regression. As we know, classification would be used when you are dealing with categorical response, and regression would be used when we are dealing with continuous response. Okay. So as the name suggests, the algorithm works in the form of a tree. So what do we mean by a tree? So initially we start with what is called as a root node. So initially all our observations would be placed in one class which would be known as root node. Then this root node would further be split into multiple nodes. So at first split you will have two nodes, and this split is always a binary split. Okay, what do I mean by binary split? Let us start with a small example. Suppose I have data on age, weight, height and gender of say 100 people, and my response variable is whether they have diabetes or not. Okay, so status of diabetes, that is 0 1, 0 if no diabetes and 1 if they have diabetes, is my response variable, and I want to explain this response in terms of these variables: age, weight, height and gender. Okay, so initially I would put all the people in this class. Then there is a binary split, so perhaps maybe say split on the basis of gender. So gender equal to, let us say, female. So I would have yes on left branch and no on right branch. So it means that if I have say 100 observations here, if my initial set consists of 100 observations, all the females would go to this node. So suppose there are 45 females and 55 males. Now this would be split further on the basis of some other variables. Maybe this gets split on the basis of age less than 50. So age less than 50, yes will always be left branch, no will always be right branch. And this suppose gets split in terms of weight. So suppose weight less than 80. So yes is here, no is here. Then out of these 45 females, whoever have age less than 50, they would be shifted to this node. Whoever have age greater than 50, they would be shifted to this node. Similarly, out of these 55 males, those who have weight less than 80 would be in this node. Those who have weight more than 80 would be in this node. And the process continues. So this may get split further. This may stop here itself. This may get split further and so on. And the terminal nodes, so for example, let us say these three get split further, whereas this stops here. So all these which don't get split further, they would be called as terminal nodes or leaf nodes. Okay, so leaf nodes or terminal nodes. So how does my algorithm work? Means finally how do I classify? So suppose there are 10 females in here. So this split was on the basis of gender, this split was on the basis of age, and suppose this split is on the basis of weight. So say weight less than 60. Now let us say new data comes to me. I have female whose age is say 50, let's say 49, and weight is say 45. Okay, so I would start from here. So initially gender female, so I would go to this branch. Then age less than 50, so I'll again go to left branch. Weight less than 60, so I'll again go to left branch. So the female would land up here. Now how do I predict class? So from my training data, I have suppose 10 observations sitting over here. I would see what is the class of those 10 observations. So suppose out of these 10, 8 are non-diabetic and 2 are diabetic. Then I would say that majority of this class is non-diabetic. So if a new observation ends up in this class, I would conclude that okay, it is better to classify it in a non-diabetic class. Got it? So given any new observation, you check how that observation travels across the tree. So sometimes it may go this way. So how that observation travels across the tree, and then finally it would end in one terminal node or one leaf node. So you would check what is the opinion of the majority in that leaf node. That becomes your prediction in a classification setup. In a regression setup, what you would do is you would take average of all the predictions in that class. All the responses in that class. Is it okay? Now you must have come up with many questions. First of all, why to start with gender here? Why to start with age here? Why 50 and so on? Okay. So this is what the algorithm does. The job of the algorithm is to find optimal splitting criteria in some sense. At every step, the algorithm will try to find optimal splitting criterion, optimal binary splitting criterion, and it would create new subclasses based on that splitting criterion. Okay. In fact, you may get more than one splits on the basis of same variable also. So here I have written gender, age, weight, and then we saw that weight is coming here again. So that may happen. In fact, not just in different branches, it may happen that here you have weight less than 80 and then here it further gets split into say weight less than 60 and this one gets split into say weight less than 100. So that is also possible. A split on the basis of a variable may further get split on the basis of same variable. Of course, the threshold has to change. Okay. So the job of the algorithm is to find optimal splitting criterion on the basis of both the choice of variable, on the basis of which variable we have to split, and the threshold value. Okay. Now one more quick question which might have come to some people's mind is, here I had binary categorical variable gender. So female yes, female no, went either or. But suppose I don't have binary. So suppose I am splitting on the basis of male, female and child. So I have three categories. So male, female, child. So what should I do? Then few of them would go to left side, remaining would go to right side. So what you have to remember is, in a split, the two sets are always complementary to each other. Okay. The two splits are always complementary to each other. So they are mutually exclusive and exhaustive, and hence finally the leaf nodes are also mutually exclusive and exhaustive. Why do I need things to be mutually exclusive and exhaustive? So that when I try a new observation, it lands up in exactly one of the leaf nodes. It shouldn't happen that it can go to two leaf nodes at the same time. It shouldn't happen that it goes to, it doesn't go to any of the leaf node. It is something different. Okay. So leaf nodes have to be mutually exclusive and exhaustive. This is important. So actually it's an inverted tree. You start from root and you go towards leaf. It's an inverted tree. But trees are widely used. They are also called as decision trees. They are widely used for their interpretability. Okay. The major reason for wide use is their interpretability. Now they are interpretable means what? See, suppose, let me focus on one split. Okay. So initially I had root node with 100 people over here. Out of these 100, suppose 70 were non-diabetic and 30 were diabetic. Suppose. Okay. Then I have split on the basis of gender. So females are on left side, males are on right side. And we said that we have 45 females and here we have 55 males. Now out of these 45 females, suppose 30 are non-diabetic and 15 are diabetic. Okay. So now out of 55 males, 40 have to be non-diabetic and 15 again would be diabetic. Okay. So this kind of tells me now the individual priority. So initially without any prior knowledge, probability of a person being diabetic was 0.3. Okay. Now if I add one more criterion, that is if I add gender, so if the person is female, probability of the person being diabetic is 15 by 45, that is 1 by 3. Whereas if the person is male, the probability of being diabetic is 15 by 55. So this is slightly less than 0.3, this is slightly more than 0.3. So we can say that yes, being female slightly increases the probability of diabetic. Now the next split was suppose on the basis of weight. So weight less than 60, and suppose I got these 45 females got divided as say 30 on this side and 15 on this side. So out of these 30, suppose 25 are non-diabetic and 5 are diabetic, and here 5 are non-diabetic and 10 are diabetic. Then I would say if you are a female with weight greater than 60, then probability of you being a diabetic becomes 10 by 15, that is 2 by 3. So now this is higher than this. So I can easily see which criterion is contributing to increase in the probability of being a diabetic. Okay. So in that sense, trees are very interpretable, and trees work exactly like how a human mind would take decision. We have many criterion, and on the basis of each criterion we check whether something is happening or not, and then we go on deciding the final course of action. So that way trees actually mimic human thought process. That is one of the advantages. Okay, and second advantage is they are very easy to interpret. Okay, hence they are widely used, especially in biostatistics domains, because doctors find it very easy if things are interpretable. There are advanced techniques like neural networks or SVM which would give probably better results in some cases, but they are very flexible, hence they give better results. So as the flexibility increases, they lose their interpretability. Whereas trees, even though they are less flexible, they are interpretable. Why am I saying they are less flexible? Now, suppose I have bivariate data, means I have x1, x2 and of course response y. What does a tree do? At any point, we are allowed to have only a binary split and only on the basis of one variable. Okay. So suppose the first split is on the basis of x1. So x1 less than some a1. So let me call this as a1. So x1 less than a1 is one class, x1 greater than a1 is other class. Now this x1 less than a1 suppose gets split on the basis of x2, and the split is say b1. So x2 less than b1 becomes this class, and this class, and x2 greater than b1 becomes this class. Now here in the x1 greater than a1 setup, in this x1 greater than a1 setup, suppose the next split also occurs on the basis of x1 and it is say on the basis of a2 threshold. So x1 less than a2 is this class, x1 greater than a2 is this class. Now this gets suppose further split at here, this is say b2, and this suppose gets split at say b3. So this kind of a structure is generated by trees. So trees always give you perpendicular cuts. So this type of structure is generated by trees. So if suppose you have something like this, a tree may not be giving very accurate results. If suppose this is your class 1 and this is your class 2, tree may not give very accurate results. Okay, you may try to cut something like this. So this is one split, this is another split, but then you will have these as misclassified observations. Okay, so trees being the trees are constructed on the basis of binary splits, and that too on the basis of one variable at a time. Hence they do have their limitations, but as I said, they are easy to interpret and mimic human thought process, so they are used a lot. Okay, now initially I said the job of the algorithm is to find some sort of optimal splitting criterion. Okay, so how does one define optimal splitting criterion? Now in the regression setup, things are easy. Generally you would try to minimize squared error or absolute error. Okay, squared error or absolute error. So what do I mean by this? So suppose I have this node which needs to be split. Okay, and let us say I have only two variables x1, x2. So here, for every observation in this class, my prediction is average of all the observations in that class. Okay, in the regression setup, average of all observations in the class. So I can compute some sort of within class error sum of squares, right? Within group or within this node error sum of squares. Now what I have to do is I have to split on the basis of some variable. So the split will be chosen in such a way that within class error sum of squares for this and within class error sum of squares for this, addition of that two should be minimum. Okay, addition of those two should be minimum. Okay, this is slightly similar to Ward's linkage, if you can remember, in cluster analysis, but of course we didn't have response variable over here. So here the error would be defined in terms of response. Are you getting what I am trying to say? We can maybe have some toy example later, but today I am going to give just an overview. Okay. Now what happens in the classification setup? How do you measure error in the classification setup? So generally misclassification probability would be an error. Okay. So you measure accuracy or misclassification probability, and that can serve as error. So you would choose that split which minimizes misclassification probability. Of course, this is not the only criterion. There are some other criteria as well. We would study them one by one, okay, in detail. But is the basics, like how does a decision tree work, is that clear to you? So how the algorithm behind it works, means how this optimal splitting criteria are chosen and all, it might be slightly hazy. We will repeat it, of course. But in general, given a tree, how to interpret it, is it clear to you? Okay. So now, what are the, as I said, today I am going to give just overview. I won't go into the details. We are going to study each of these things in details later. So what are the types of precautions that you need to take while building a tree? First of all, the tree should neither be too long nor too short. Tree should neither be too long nor too short. What do I mean by this? You have to decide some sort of stopping criterion. So at what point you would stop splitting the node further. So the general thumb rules that are used is less than 5 observations in a node. If there are less than 5 observations in a node, you don't split further. Okay, don't split further. Sometimes it doesn't have to be number 5. You can say less than 5% of total observations, then also don't split further. That is also okay. Okay. Another option is if you have 100% pure node. What do I mean by pure node? So in the earlier example, diabetic, non-diabetic, if I get a leaf node where everyone is say diabetic, then splitting it further is not going to help, because here itself everyone is diabetic, so I am kind of getting 100% accuracy. So if you have a pure node, you won't split it further. In a regression setup, getting a pure node would be difficult, because in regression setup, pure node means every observation should have same value of y. Okay, so that is generally difficult. So you have to make sure that you don't split unnecessarily, but at the same time, if you stop too early, then your model will be very less flexible. So being too long or too short is again the question of flexibility. Okay. So there is a concept called as pruning of trees. So what you do is you let the tree grow and then you prune some extra branches if you feel they are not needed. Okay, something like this. We will study this also in detail. What is meant by pruning of a tree, what are the criteria for pruning a tree, and so on. Okay, so that is another thing we need to study. Then how to handle missing values in a variable. So if I split on the basis of say x1, some observations may not have x1 present. Then how do I handle those observations in such a case? That is another thing that we will study. And of course we will try all those things in tree which we have already tried earlier. So LOCV or 5-fold cross validation. But as I said, in most of the cases we will go for k-fold cross validation instead of LOCV. Okay. So these are some of the trees, some of the things that we need to study about trees. Okay. So we'll be starting with decision trees, which are known as classification, and regression trees, because they can be used for classification as well as regression. And this is the basic tree structure. So I hope you at least know now how does a tree work. Okay, so you start from a root node, you given a new observation, you start from a root node and you see how that observation travels across the tree, and wherever it lands up you take either majority or average, depending on whether it is classification or regression, as the response. Majority of that node or average of that node as the response. Is it okay? So today I will stop here. We will start the actual theory in the next lecture. Thank you.